Hello, welcome back. Left off, we had this anomaly, so just gonna jump right into these things. Anomalies are essentially when you are scanning a system, an anomaly will pop up, and this one in particular is precursor activity. Each anomaly is rated on a difficulty scaling. So this one, where is it at on the map here? Is it not popping up yet? Yeah, that's fine. For this one right here, it's essentially very hard. It's going to take us 2,160 days to research it, just because this guy's low level. That's a lot of time. That's like almost, I want to say 6 years or so. So I'm going to hit leave B for now and keep playing, because that is something for future us to deal with. Now this, on the other hand, this is much more manageable. This is essentially strong energy emissions of an unknown origin are making this asteroid stand out from the rest of its peers in this crowded asteroid field. It's routine, difficulty, pretty much this is just normal everyday stuff, so I'll actually hit research. What they'll do during that time, the scientist is fully preoccupied. He's just scanning, researching, figuring out what the hell that anomaly is, and then you'll get an event. Some of those anomalies can start event chains, like precursor activity stuff. I have a playthrough where I'm playing as a bunch of space dwarves, and I got one for a bunch of what are called the L gates. We'll get into those if we find any of them, but essentially it's like nanobot technology and all that kind of stuff, so it's great. Also, you should know I do not use keyboard shortcuts a lot, because I just don't feel like learning them. I have like 400 hours in this game. Still don't know any keyboard shortcuts, because very mouse clicky driven kind of person, So that asteroid gave us weapons target range. Asteroid SSD-619 is pockmarked with craters from weapon blasts and appears to have been used as a target range by someone roughly 2 millennia ago. Residual energy readings suggest they tested increasingly exotic weaponry, including subspace bombs and some kind of singularity generator. Scientists would be interested in studying the unusual energy echoes that remain. Interesting. And that added a +3 physics researching modifier, and leveled Mikhail up here. So now that little asteroid has physics research. So if we claim this world and go ahead and build something here, we can build a research station there, and it will continually generate 3 physics research towards our overall physics total for the rest of the game, which is super cool. Honestly, early game Stellaris is kind of boring. Hey, survey complete. So, every time you get something surveyed, this is a quick summary of what's in that system. So this guy's 3 energy credits, 6 minerals, 2 physics research, and 3 trade value. Our guy here is going to go and explore some other stuff while he's on the way. We're going to take our construction ship here, the UNS Bengal, and we're going to construct a starbase outpost. So, there's a lot of modifiers that can make these cheaper. At the moment it takes 63 influence and 85 alloy. It's going to just get withdrawn immediately from up there. There is eventually a point in this game where if you play your cards right, aka if I play my cards right, I can kind of snowball into a fairly powerful, galactic presence. But that depends on a lot of stuff. Like, if we say explore over here and there's like an empire blocking us here, an empire blocking us here, and then maybe over here as well, then we can't really expand anywhere. I could probably play the diplomatic / tall building, but that's honestly super kind of boring to watch, I'd imagine. I don't know, I don't watch people play things on the internet. That's a lie. I do watch it all the time. I kind of want to get alloy foundries, just because I really need the alloy production. I've learned after a few play test things for this game, it is super important to have just a crazy amount of alloys at any given moment, because this game sometimes can be kind of tricky. And also, if things get a little choppy this episode, I'm sorry, I'm trying to process the last episode in the background. Like I said, still new to all this, not sure how to get it all worked out, but bear with me and eventually I'll get my shit sorted out. And also we have that continental world. So the second this construction ship finishes claiming this system for us, I'm going to go ahead and colonize it here. We'll send a colony ship out and start getting some people in Alpha Centauri. 'Cause with this game, I've found like you can be picky with the planets you colonize if you want to early game. I never am. I pretty much just colonize the first thing I see and just go from there. Um, just because it's a pain in the ass to actually like micromanage colonies and stuff. You can do it late game if you want to. Late game is fine. But early game, it's pretty much just like space race, land grab, go west, just get as big as possible.
Construction complete.
Well, let me rephrase that. I shouldn't say as big as possible, because they added this new mechanic called cohesion, where essentially if you go over your total cohesion limit, your empire starts to have rebellions and starts to break apart, and it's just an overall bad time for everybody involved. So here, I think I'm gonna build another generator district here. Does this give housing? It does. Cool. So one big thing with this game is like unemployment and housing. So at the moment, we have unemployment on this planet. Essentially just means we have a population that spawned, because they generate over time. Population spawned, and then there wasn't a job for them immediately, so they just immediately went unemployed. That's one of those things that can be kind of annoying later in the game, but we'll just deal with it for now. Got a whole bunch of minerals up here, so should be good. And we got another tradition, so we can now do the starbase influence cost by 10%, or new colonies start with an additional 1 pop. Depending... I'm trying to think what I want to do. I'm thinking I want to go for that first, because it might actually be a second before I start colonizing this system. Because I kind of want to... Usually the best way to make sure that you expand and lock out is choke points, because what you can do is, like, let's say there's an empire kind of over here, and I want to cut them off from everything over here. And I know there's 2 lanes here, but let's say theoretically this right here was the only way to get to these 2 stars. If I, like, colonize that and don't give him border access, there's no way for him to get anything over here at all. Well, there's a way, but there's not a early game way. That's all late game kind of stuff. But that's just kind of an example of like, in this game, since it's now locked to hyperlanes, long ago it used to be a couple different jump drive techs. Those technologies are still in the game, so like you can do like jump drives, which are pretty much just teleport. Like you get a ring and you can teleport anywhere in that ring, essentially. Hyperlanes, I've always played on hyperlanes just because I think they're way more challenging and way more fun. Because it's like you can like build military choke points on like this star right here, so that way anything that gets into it pretty much has to go through a meat grinder of guns, bullets, and planetary defense systems or whatever. But yeah, this game is it's I'd say it's more interesting in kind of the later game stuff. It's really difficult to do anything interesting early game, I should say, which is why I'm probably going to read out all the anomalies and everything. Complete. So this anomaly right here, while scanning an asteroid belt, science team found some sort of irregularity. That's a tier 6 thing. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah, that precursor activity thing was like tier 8, so I think the scientists can go all the way up to tier 10. It's very rare for your scientists to actually live that long to get that much experience. And this event right here is... So, I've never really understood this. So, most of the, like, event chains... So this right here is just kind of a default one. This always pops up. We now know, without a doubt, there's a thriving biosphere that is not something unique to Earth. Both scientific community and public at large are eager to learn more various forms of life throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalog the life forms we encounter are already underway. Xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey on habitable, life-bearing worlds. So that essentially means we gotta go find a bunch of worlds we can colonize. Or worlds that can potentially be habitable. Or if you want to, you can just get 20 influence points that you're going to burn immediately and not do anything. We're going to go ahead and do it, and it's going to go into our situation log. Essentially, this is like your quest log right here. So we have to survey eight habitable planets. This guy right here is burning through his surveys, probably just because there's a billion micro I don't know if I should call them micro worlds necessarily, but a lot of things for each system for surveying. I'm already kind of running an energy deficit. Oh no, there we go. So yeah, early game's kind of a balancing act of like you want to build more and expand more, but if you build too much, you can't afford it with your energy credits. And if you don't build too much, if you don't build enough, then you're going to get behind in the overall game of things. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could do a tall build campaign. It'd actually be kind of fun. Building tall in this game is really satisfying. Like, it doesn't really pay off till late game, which is why, for the most part, it's just sitting there, like, grinding through technologies and stuff, but I'm wondering if I can recreate the, I gotta take a drink real quick.
Construction complete.
The civilization that I had custom made for that. Well, I guess they kind of nerfed that. It's a little more difficult than it used to be.
Detected.
Man, we are finding a lot of hard anomalies. Which is good, it's good. Like, this is going to be really nice for our later scientists to come back in here and just make a bunch of neat stuff happen. If I wanted to, I could build another science vessel and put a scientist on it and then just, like, slave them away for, like, 6 years on these, but I don't really want to. Early game, Stellaris is pretty much just try and explore and expand as much as possible, and you're pretty much good to go. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and let's make a new colony. So this right here is the nice auto-colonization system. So if you have multiple worlds or multiple like species in your empire, you can choose which one can go where, all that. Since we're just humans, we're going to select the humans. Alpha Centauri Prime is a lame name, so we're going to randomize it. We're going to call it Olympia. That's a good name. And so when we click that, our shipyard here at the solar system here, is going to make a colony ship. And when that colony ship is made, it's going to pop out, go to Alpha Centauri. He's going to have a great time. Once I kind of explore more, it's like, at the starting, when you start off playing this game, it's really, really tempting to just like build star bases everywhere, but you only have a maximum of 3 at the beginning. So a star base essentially meaning you have access to these modules and buildings within it. So like modules we have at the start are like anchorages, more naval capacity, which is how many ships you can have, different weapon battery types depending on your techs. Like if you have a lot of research into missiles, you want to build missile batteries because they'll do a hell of a lot more damage. And then vice versa for guns. Or you can get trade hubs just to make the trade value higher. Trade is a new thing I think they added with the Mega Corporation DLC. So, what's this anomaly? Mineral composition of Tanaga 2 does not match projection, so I'm just going to research that. And we found strategic resources. We discovered exotic gases unknown to us, variety of several usage, energy-based weapons and force fields, recreational drugs, and starship fuel. So that essentially means we found one of the strategic resources, and those are, I just call them motes, gases, crystals, living metals, dark matter, and nanites. A lot of those are really, really, really good. They are just make your life a lot easier. That's what they do. That's pretty much the gist of it. Go ahead and dismiss that pop up there. I'm going to kind of contain stuff up north.
Construction complete.
Ooh, that has a lot of trade value. So, since this has so much trade value to it, here, let me pause real quick here. So what I'm going to do is, since these two have a lot of trade value in them, so we have 9 and 4, what I'm going to probably end up doing is I'm going to build a... I'll just see what's up here, just in case, but if there's something, if it's not as valuable, I might build a trade post here. So that way it'll pull trade from these 2 planets here, and then send it out to Sol. Or I can probably just colonize Sirius. That'd probably be better. I'll just colonize Sirius and then call from there. Teachings of the Warriors. Let's read this. Across the barren fields of Tanaga 2D, there are indications of old battles being fought beneath lifeless ground. Researchers find bones, metallic shards, and most surprisingly, a container filled with documents. We send them home. Research for translation, learn about the war and fought in it, or sell them off as antiques. So this is like a get $1,000 or get a special project. in my experience, I usually always do the special project
Log
just
updated.
because money is not terribly difficult to come by. Especially once we unlock the galactic market, that makes life a little easy. Makes things a little easier. So we can go into the situation log here. And this is, yeah, this is, I figured that would be a big one. So, what kind of like scales these research timers and how long it takes you to actually research technology and everything is how much of that research you're developing. So at the moment, we only have 19 society research every, I don't know if it's like a monthly type deal, but essentially, like if we were getting 5,000 society research, this would be done in 1 month. So it's kind of like a math scaling calculation thing. There's a lot of math that goes into Paradox games. I am horrible at math, so don't expect me
Technology
to like
discovered.
crack open a Excel spreadsheet and start punching through numbers and everything. I got planetary unification. Let's see. So yeah, all these are really going to take forever. We didn't really get the best start with our tech. There's not a lot of society research over here. We have like 2 over here, so we're probably going to have to build some research stations here on Earth, which is going to be a bit of a pain because I usually like to prioritize the capital for alloy and consumer good production, but it's whatever. Hydroponics farms and hydroponics bays. Or ecostim. Let's just go ahead and do a hydroponic farming. That sounds good. And then from here, gotta wait for us to get more of that money. Once we do, things will be pretty alright. Getting a fairly decent amount of growth progress, which is always nice. And we have a new leader. So yeah, this guy right here, since he has this skill experience gain, he's leveling up a lot faster than our actual first guy did. But this guy can research anomalies about 50% faster, so he's pretty good at that. I'm actually going to re-prioritize him to do research that, and then those 2. This guy's going to take care of these over here.
Establishing colony.
Hey, first colony. Large river delta on one of the several continents to be found. Olympia's temperate forested region will serve as an ideal landing site. The ship has been permanently converted into administrative headquarters, new settlement, reactor core, and all that. Oh, I should have seen what the little ship looks like. Oh well. We can take a look at what our constructor ship looks like. This is the ship right here that goes around and builds everything. It's very blue, which makes it cooler. I actually really like the humanoid ship designs. They're pretty nice. But we get some engineering research for that, and now the colony doesn't immediately happen. They have to, build up the little city around it and, get stuff set up and ready. That's what this is over here. We're essentially colonizing the planet. Those colony ships, like, in-game, like, lore perspective, it's, like, full of millions of settlers, and they all just landed here, and now they're going to start building up stuff. Cool thing with this game is, like, right at the moment, you don't see any, like, lights or anything on it, but if we go to Earth, you can see all the, city lights, all that kind of stuff. Everything lit up over there. Apparently the US is having a Earth Day or something, which is weird. That might be a visual bug. But yeah, there's a lot of cool little details like that in this game. What do we want to build here? I'm thinking we're probably going to have to build civilian industries here, because we only have about 9 consumer goods. I want to make sure I'm on top of that and I don't accidentally fall way behind on there.
Technology discovered.
Take up quite a bit. Well, this is going to be a bit of a tricky start. We're going to have to do a bit more balancing act than I wanted to. Ooh, yes, I need more minerals. At the moment we're making 27 minerals per month, or per, monthly tick, and that takes up about 12 of them. So that's going to be a little tricky to work around, but I think we can manage it pretty well. We are coming up on the 20-minute mark here, so I will leave you guys there. Starting to make a little expansion. Got our first colony set up pretty quickly. Not as fast as some people usually prefer, but next episode we'll probably build some more down in over here and colonize Sirius. But until then, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.